Hello and welcome to week 2 of CS46A online. Let's see what we're up to this week. So in the Udacity videos, you're supposed to work through lesson 2, not all of it. Just go to the segment that's entitled Copying Numbers. There it is. So that's about 3/4 of this lesson. It's a complex lesson. It introduces you to using objects, and there's a lot of terminology in it. And frankly, you shouldn't expect to perfectly understand all of the terminology, the rationale for all of it. But what you should be able to do is become reasonably comfortable using objects, calling methods on them, without worrying infinitely much about what an object metaphysically is or what a method really is. If you can use the objects, make them do something, solve the problems, then that's really what we're after at this stage. Also read the textbook, and you're going to be reading pretty much the same as what you've seen in the videos, but you'll find that for review the textbook is hard to beat. Last semester we had a lot of complaints from students when the textbook was not required and all they had was the videos, that to review something for an exam or for just figuring out how to do homework was murder, because re-watching the videos is obviously tedious. So when you do the textbook, at the end of each section there are these nifty self-checks, and so they're carefully designed to be pretty obvious, but some of them have a little bit of a twist. So go ahead and do them in your mind and then flip to the end of the book and the end of the chapter and see if you've done them right. So there's a reasonable amount of them, and so they're not multiple choice. They're there to make you think just a little bit. And there's a quiz due. They now start every Monday and Thursday. So be sure to do quiz 1 right away. It's due at 6 p.m. tonight. And then again on Thursday there'll be another one. Homework is now going to get going with programming, and I have another video about that so that I can go into a bit more detail. And the other important thing that starts is the labs. So you'll be working through a lab a week. There's 14 of them. And when you look at the lab instructions, you'll see that they're set up for people working in pairs. And that's something that really works very well in our experience. It is kind of amazing how 2 people can figure out stuff that neither of them would be able to do on their own. And unfortunately, in the online section, we don't quite know how to deal with this. And so we're hoping that most of you will see the wisdom of this and we'll find a lab partner and work together. You might do that in the library, or you might do that over Skype or whatever. And we're not requiring it in the online section, but we are giving a small bonus for those who do it that way, in addition to the bonus that you'll find it just works better. But if you can't find a buddy to do the lab work with, it's not fatal. You can do it on your own, and you can still get a passing grade on the lab. So I've put in here a few suggestions on what you might want to do to find a lab partner, and I'd welcome more suggestions from you guys on how one could facilitate that. It's okay to switch partners at any time. You're not married to your partner, and so at any time just turn in your lab with a partner if you can and say, this is my partner this time. Of course, it is most effective to have the same partner for multiple times, so you get comfortable working with each other. We'll be having a WebEx conference with each of you, and there'll be multiple times scheduled. That'll roll out tomorrow, hopefully. Again, this is the first time we're doing it that way, and we're still working out on the details. The labs are taken very seriously in this department. So scoring is makes it basically so if you turn in everything, then you'll pass. But if you slack off, you can fail the labs, and if you fail the lab, unfortunately, you do fail the class. We've put in a lot of effort in making these labs and to staffing them with lab assistants, and they really are very good practice. And some of the things that happen in the lab are not necessarily used so much in this course, but in the follow-on courses. And it is always a lot of grief for instructors when students say, oh, I just didn't take the lab seriously. And so the department decided to crack down on that. So the message is, do the labs or else. So do the labs. And that's really all that I want you to think about this week. So don't be afraid of the deep dive into objects. It's normal for everyone to find it quite confusing the first time around. Make sure to do the labs, get going with the homeworks, and for that I'll have another video.